Your doctor checks your blood pressure, your cholesterol, maybe your blood sugar. But there is one organ quietly failing millions of people right now that rarely gets tested until it is almost too late. By the time most people find out their kidneys are struggling, they have already lost more than half their function. No pain, no obvious symptoms. Just a slow, invisible decline that most diets make worse without anyone realizing it. And here's the part that will bother you. Some of the foods people eat specifically because they think they are being healthy are quietly increasing the toxic burden on their kidneys every single week. Too much of the wrong protein, the wrong cooking oils, even certain leafy greens in excess can accelerate the damage. But there are 5 specific fish that do the opposite. They reduce inflammation inside the kidney's filtering units, help clear waste from the bloodstream more efficiently, and in some cases support the actual repair of kidney tissue. We are counting them down from 5 to 1, and the one at the top of this list is something almost no health channel talks about. Number 5 is something most people walk past in the grocery store without a second look. Sardines. And before you skip ahead, hear this out, because the reason sardines made this list has nothing to do with what you have heard before. Those soft edible bones are loaded with calcium and phosphorus in a ratio that actually supports kidney function rather than straining it. More importantly, sardines are packed with EPA and DHA, the omega-3 fatty acids that reduce inflammation in the glomeruli, which are the tiny filtering units inside your kidneys. When those units get chronically inflamed, filtration slows down, toxins stay in your bloodstream longer, and the damage quietly compounds over months and years. The mistake most people make is buying sardines packed in soybean or sunflower oil. High omega-6 oils partially cancel out the anti-inflammatory benefit you are getting from the fish itself. Go for sardines packed in water or olive oil, keep it to 1 can 2 or 3 times a week. And eat them with lemon over whole grain, toast, or mashed into a salad with cucumber and parsley. Parsley is not just for garnish. It is a mild natural diuretic that works well alongside sardines specifically. Number 4 is rainbow trout, and this one tends to surprise people who assume salmon was the only freshwater fish worth paying attention to. Trout raised in clean, freshwater environments consistently test among the lowest in mercury of any fish you can buy, and that matters more for kidneys than most people realize. Mercury is directly nephrotoxic. It damages the tubules responsible for reabsorbing water and nutrients from filtered blood. Accumulate enough of it over time, and those tubules degrade quietly while your filtration numbers drop. Trout is also rich in selenium, which acts as a cofactor for glutathione peroxidase, the enzyme your body uses to neutralize oxidative stress inside kidney tissue. Most people are mildly deficient in selenium and never know it. The preparation mistake is simple but common. Pan-frying it in butter with heavy salt every time. Excess sodium increases the operating pressure your kidneys work under and does so consistently. Bake or steam the trout instead and season it with garlic, lemon, and fresh herbs. The fish is good enough that it does not need much else. Before number 3, here is something worth pausing on because it goes against what a lot of people have been told. Eating protein is not inherently hard on healthy kidneys. The research around protein restriction applies specifically to people who already have kidney disease. For healthy kidneys, the type of protein matters far more than the total amount, and fish protein is among the easiest for kidneys to process because of its amino acid profile and its low purine content compared to red meat. One critical mistake here: king mackerel and Atlantic mackerel are not interchangeable. King mackerel carries significantly higher mercury levels. Atlantic mackerel is smaller, less expensive, and just as nutritious. Grill it with turmeric and black pepper. That is not just a flavor choice. Both compounds have specific anti-inflammatory properties that work well with what the fish already provides. Number 2 is wild-caught salmon, and it is on this list for a reason most people have never heard mentioned. Everyone knows about omega-3s in salmon. What almost nobody talks about is astaxanthin, the carotenoid pigment responsible for salmon's deep pink color. Astaxanthin is one of the most extensively studied antioxidants for kidney protection specifically. It acts almost like a cellular shield during periods of high toxic load, reducing oxidative damage to renal tissue in ways that standard omega-3 content alone does not account for. The mistake that undermines all of this is buying farmed Atlantic salmon. Farmed salmon often contains a fraction of the astaxanthin found in wild-caught fish and is sometimes artificially colored to look similar. Look specifically for wild-caught sockeye or coho. Steam it, bake it at low heat, or eat it cold. High-heat cooking degrades astaxanthin, so keeping the temperature moderate is not optional if you are eating it for this specific benefit. Number 1 is snakehead fish, and if you have never heard of it in this context, that is exactly the point. Snakehead is available in most Asian grocery stores across the United States and has been quietly consumed in immigrant communities for generations, but it has been almost completely ignored by mainstream American health content, despite being the subject of serious clinical research. Studies out of Malaysia and Thailand have specifically examined snakehead's role in tissue repair and post-surgical recovery, with findings pointing to a unique protein profile that accelerates cellular regeneration in renal tissue. This is not folk medicine. This is peer-reviewed research that simply never made it into the health content most Americans consume. Beyond tissue repair, snakehead is low in fat, low in mercury, and notably high in zinc, a mineral that is essential for enzyme function throughout the nephron. Zinc deficiency has been directly linked to reduced kidney filtration efficiency, and most people eating a typical American diet are running low on it without realizing it. Check your nearest Asian grocery store. It is more accessible than most people think. Prepare it simply, steamed with ginger and scallion or in a light broth. It does not need anything heavy to be effective or good. 3 things to actually do with this information starting this week. Rotate the fish rather than eating the same one daily, sardines one day, trout another, salmon on the weekend. Variety prevents accumulation of any single compound while giving your kidneys the full range of nutrients they benefit from. Watch your preparation method, because frying in seed oils or cooking at high heat consistently undermines what makes these fish worth eating in the first place. And drink enough water. Fish can support kidney function, but without adequate hydration, the kidneys do not have the fluid volume needed to flush efficiently. 2 liters a day is the floor, not the ceiling. If this gave you something useful, drop a comment with which fish you are starting with. The number 1 pick tends to generate the most conversation, and it is worth reading through. Subscribe if you want content that goes past the surface and actually explains why something works. That is what this channel is here for.